Joining us now is former IDF soldier who fought inside Gaza in 2014, Benzie Sanders. In his New York Times op-ed titled, I fought for the IDF in Gaza. It made me fight for peace. Benzie argues the promise to eliminate Hamas is a lie and that a ground invasion is doomed to failure. Benzie, thank you very much for being with us. Explain what you saw and why it makes you believe that it's just not possible to root out Hamas now.
Well, I was sent into Gaza in 2014 also after a horrific terrorist attack in which 3 Israeli teenagers were murdered. Obviously, that pales in comparison to the horrific images and suffering and death and kidnapping that we saw on October 7th. But the images that I see now of bombardments and tanks and IDF soldiers engaging with Hamas militants in tunnels and in urban basically post-apocalyptic urban environment reminds me of my own experience. And after we went in and we suffered our own casualties, killed also thousands of Palestinians in that operation, I came out and I looked and I started thinking about what we accomplished. And I saw that actually what happened was that Hamas just got stronger. And not only did it get stronger, it got stronger with the help of my own government. My own government thought that it was convenient and preferable to bolster Hamas while it simultaneously delegitimized and called Palestinian initiatives from the Palestinian Authority at the UN diplomatic terrorism, delegitimized Palestinian human rights activists, human rights organizations, designating them as terrorist groups, meanwhile facilitating the transfer of hundreds of millions of dollars to Gaza into the hands of Hamas. And they just got stronger. All of that for the purpose of preventing the creation of Palestinian state, preventing hope, really, for Palestinians to achieve the same rights and freedoms that we cherish so much for ourselves. And that is actually crushing Palestinian hope, which also plays into the hands of Hamas. Not only is this the view of human rights activists like myself and like my colleagues, both Israeli and Palestinian, but even the former head of the Shin Bet, Ami Ayalon, has said that in order to defeat decisively terrorism, like the terrorism carried out by Hamas, you need to create an alternative. Because Hamas is not just a terrorist organization, it's also an ideology. It's an ideology of violent resistance. And in order to defeat that ideology, we need to work towards creating an alternative, a future where Palestinians and Israelis live in safety and security with rights and independence.
How do you get to that alternative?
Well, we're doing everything in our power, not just this government, but successive governments, to prevent the possibility of getting to that alternative. We're pushing Palestinians off of their land. We're expanding settlements. We need to be doing the opposite. There are settlements. Forget about the fact that settlements are illegal, according to the vast majority of international law analysis. There are settlements that have been built in against Israeli law. These are called outposts. They're illegal even according to Israeli law, but Israel doesn't enforce its own laws. Violent settler groups are out in mass, more in the past 3 weeks than ever before, but it's been on the increase even before this violence that broke out.
This is in the West Bank, just so we can be clear. This is in the West Bank.
Yeah. So this is even in the areas where Hamas has not taken over. We're oppressing, allowing for the destruction of those any hope. I think we need to pursue the political solution. You know, I don't know the exact formula. We need to negotiate. We need to figure that out. But right now, our current government, in its founding document, in the coalition agreement, and this government says the founding principle is that the entire land of Israel is the Jewish people have the exclusive right, exclusive, to the entire land. So we need to change that. We need to make an about face in our entire approach towards Palestinians. Soldiers to a horrific fighting in which many are being killed and injured, and we don't have a vision. So I think this is a horrific mistake. We need to stop. We need to commit and make not just in words, not just is Israel. We need also our partners or the people who believe in a future for Israelis and Palestinians to also make demands that there's actual commitments on the ground, not just lip service to the idea of a future of a Palestinian state and Palestinian independence.
Benzie Sanders, thank you very much for joining us, and I encourage everybody to read your op-ed in the Times. It's really interesting. And your background is really interesting as well. Benzie, thank you.